all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total Protonic Reversal.
Protonic Reversal.
Protonic Reversal with Conan, Neutron, and Josh Davis. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rock about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
The thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Confidence of a hero or a fool. I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It's only one I choose to devote my life to. That's okay.
It would mean something. It would mean something.
And take that away.
You know, that's my take on it. What's yours?
Protonic Reversal.
That's like a science thing, right?
Yes, it's a science thing. It's a science place. Oh, welcome, good friends, to the one, the only, home of the...
Protonic Reversal.
Just me, Conan, tonight. No Josh. Josh is mixing... He's doing band stuff, so it's like a Protonic Reversal classic, really. Glad to have you. We're gonna have a good show. We're talking to Mr. J.D. Pinkus of the Butthole Surfers, Melvins, Honky, and of course he's also put out his own record called Keep on the Grass. Keep on the Grass, you understand. That's largely him and a banjo. Kind of wild stuff. So we'll be talking to him shortly. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. Thanks for tuning in, as always. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. I've been up, down, all around. Staying busy, so to speak. Let's see. Anything really big to report? Yeah, probably not. But we are here, and we're going to play some tunes first, and then we'll be talking to Pinkus about 10 minutes or so. So, let's start things off. Let's kick things off, if you will, with a song from the Pinkus Abortion Technician record by the Melvins, which is actually a Butthole Surfer song. This is Graveyard. And, of course, Pinkus Abortion Technician, that is a reference to Locust Abortion Technician, the Butthole Surfers record, fantastic Butthole Surfers record. And it's a bit of an homage. So, here we go. This is Graveyard.
Then he's talking about the tears of the pavement as I scrape them up off the ground. Feel the toasters shaking that head though. Watch the blonde girl stumbling around. 10 pounds in a 5-pound sack sure makes a funny sound. Keeps on talking, walk on by, just keep walking till it's time to fly.
right, that's 20-Pound Jockey off of Keep on the Grass by Mr. J.D. Pinkus, the new record now available at your finest internets and worldwide. And on the phone right now, we have Mr. Jeff Pinkus. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Crowd going wild over here.
Right on, man.
We always love it. It's just me today. My co-host Josh is off mixing one of his records, but as you pointed out when I put you in, I talk enough for the both of us, so it all works out just fine.
Yeah, I was about 2 minutes away from curing cancer, and then you called, and I forgot where I was at. But I'm kind of multitasking anyways. It'll hit me again later. Yeah,
exactly. You'll remember it. Maybe next time we'll get the notebook together. You know.
It's usually when I'm touching myself.
So I was just playing something off your brand new record. This is it's called "Keep on the Grass," which
that's right.
Which I saw what you did there. It's real subtle, but I saw what you did there. And that came out pretty recently, right? And that was like this summer that finally came out. When did you start working on that one?
Well, I started working on it with my buddy and banjo guru Danny Barnes, and he knew I played banjo and heard some songs and thought I should do a whole cassette for his cassette label. And so I was like, I've kind of always wanted to do a whole recording of just my banjo stuff, and so I said, yeah, sure. So I flew him down from where he lives, which is on one of the islands off of Washington State now.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
With his wife. Yeah. And so brought him down. He's from Austin area. And so he came out and we recorded it, and it came out on his limited edition on his cassette stuff. And then I waited until those sold out on Minter Bucket Records, and then I put it out on my label with my friend and musician partner Stephen Haas. We have a label called Heavy Feather Records, and so we put out Pure Luck on it first, and now putting this out on it. And so we got physical copies, and we sell enough CDs. Hopefully we'll get some vinyl, because that's really should come out. Although I'm a big fan of cassettes, because you pretty much have to listen to it and order it, that it was made in. The cassette order was actually different than the CD order. The CD order I changed from Danny wanted me to pick one for the CD, and he picked one for the cassette, and it was interesting to see which way he did it. But you have to for side A and B. You have to make them even.
Oh, so you're saying the sequencing is actually different then? It's actually like a different listening. Interesting.
Yeah. Which I like about the the modes of vinyl, and other than I'm a sound geek, and I went to school for it, and worked with the Audio Engineering Society when I was out there, and really got into that stuff. So I know how much people. I know some people I work with that say CD sounds as good as cassette tape or vinyl, but if you do the actual scientific study of it, there are some benefits to those things. The problem is that everybody now just wants to buy a song; they don't want to buy a whole album.
Right. The idea of the album as a listening experience has kind of become more of an outmoded concept for a lot of folks, and which I feel is too bad. I still listen to records, frankly.
Well, there's a lot of there was a lot of filler that people put out that might have ruined it. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could have come in that ruined the actual wax, but mostly the fact they could do it cheaper on a piece of material that costs way less to reproduce, even though they knew it was not a permanent mode of recording. It would deteriorate and go away.
Right.
But they actually charged Butthole Surfers when they switched over to that. They said it was going to cost them more to do CDs than it was to do vinyl and cassettes. So that was pretty interesting. Even
really?
Considering, they charged more for it.
Where are they getting those made? I got a guy who can do a lot cheaper.
Yeah. It was capital. I don't think
enough said.
It wasn't really in the game back then.
Right. So
just ripped the band off.
Yeah, that sounds hinky as hell, frankly. But did you ever think that the cassettes would kind of make a bit of a comeback as far as sort of like the more proletariat choice of releasing music?
Yeah, definitely, because of the sound quality aspect of it, because it's cheaper and you can make more of them than you can with vinyl. And like I said, I know the math of it all, and cassettes are actually really good if you take care of them, and they're cheap to get manufactured. Again, it forces the listener most of the time to listen to the whole recording.
Unless you got one of those. They have those fancy ones, the ones you could skip past, but those were like a high end item way back.
That was that now that takes too long for most people.
Right, exactly. We live in an instant gratification world. Ain't nobody looking for that right now.
Yeah, we like quantum physics in our stuff, non-linear, man.
Non-linear. Causality itself is an outmoded concept, so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So speaking of causality being an outmoded concept, I opened up that set of music with something off of the most recent Melvin's record here, the one Pinkus Abortion Technician, which I think is a hilarious name, and you close the record with Graveyard by Butthole Surfers, and getting into it there, like so you did Hold It In with them. You got a couple, there's some tunes on the Bases Loaded stuff. You've been in the Melvins world for the past few years now. How did that all come to pass?
Jared was having a baby, and they needed someone for the 30th year anniversary, and that person happened to be me. And then it became a 3-piece version. And then Steven was playing with him, and they recorded, and then we decided to record some of the songs that we did on the road, like Graveyard, because Buzz wanted to do some of these tracks.
Yeah, it's a killer version.
It's awesome. He wanted to do the faster version in A. I wanted to use our CG tuning and do a mixture of the slow version and the fast version.
Oh, interesting. Because I was trying to think of why it was different. That makes sense. Okay.
I wanted to do. There's a slowed down version on the on original Locust. There's 2 versions of the song, and one I tuned the bass for that style to all strings tuned to D.
That's right. Which is funny because I own that on cassette, bringing it all back home. So
there you go, man.
I don't think I've ever owned it in any other format other than digital.
I hope we get a big payoff from the cassette industry somewhere down here.
Somewhere down the line. So you had like Graveyard, and there was a Moving to Florida as well, like some stuff that kind of entered the live set, and then on Hold It In. Paul Leary was involved in that as well, not in the live act, but for making the record, and that kind of was how that whole piece of the Melvin circus kind of kicked off with you guys, right?
Yeah, it was good. I heard Buzz saying plenty of things about what he thought about Paul's guitar playing. And despite that, I asked him if he wanted me to. No, I'm kidding. I asked him if he wanted me to talk to Paul about laying some tracks down, and he said, "Yeah, sure." And me and Paul talked quite a bit, and so Paul was into doing it. He had a few songs that he had written himself that we came in and tracked on top of. And then he mixed those, and they sound a little bit different. Yeah, so one's
kind of there's that trippy kind of ELO sounding one almost.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one where I was like, oh man,
You Can Make Me Wait. Yeah. That was. I think that's kind of funny you mentioned that one, because I think Buzz thought he was going to pop Paul out, and he wanted Paul to sing on this song called Brass. Is it called Brass Knuckles, something like that? Brass something on there, but. Brass Cupcake.
Cupcake. That's the one that's. I told Dale that.
And Paul. Yeah,
for me, it kind of sounds like the Cars a little bit, like in a good way though.
Yeah. And so, the Paul's song sounds like the Cars mixed with Journey to me, but the other one, Brass Cupcake, I think Buzz thought he was going to write the poppiest song of his life and do that, and then Paul had already written "You Can Make Me Wait," and so I think he out-popped Buzz when Buzz was trying to out-pop Paul. But I don't think it was a conscious competition, but it was
just how it worked out
nicely. Yeah. We actually had to ask Paul to maybe put more of his actual vocals in there instead of that vocoder. He was a little he was slow to do so, but he did it. But the rest of the stuff he just did top tracks on the rest. He just kind of played with it after we had already recorded a lot of that. But it was a great experience. We did it in a few different places, and a lot of different feels on it. Enough different feels to piss old school Melvins fans off.
Right, which Which for certain old school Melvins fan, it's not really that difficult, frankly. All you have to do is anything that's not the one thing.
Yeah, it's not the one song they liked from the first time they heard it. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like one album, just listen to one of the other 32. Probably you find something in there you like. But Melvins don't have to do a single show again ever.
Yeah, they know that never run out of songs. Yeah.
Yeah, they could just they could just they've got so many songs that they don't they'll never stop doing what they do, and they do it because they love to do it. Well,
what I like about it as a fan is that there was a definite kind of interesting, palpable excitement and sort of weird energy to to yourself and Paul being involved in that. They kind of it's almost noticeable when you kind of get into the rhythm of listening to what Buzz and Dale are throwing down, that you can kind of like see when, okay, let's try this. All right, let's try that. Let's try this. And I feel like there were some kind of cool reaches on there that either they haven't done in a while. And again, you mentioned Brass Cupcake, which is definitely one of the poppiest Melvin songs ever, for sure. But what I didn't realize is that at first is that some of those songs are coming from you, like Bride of Frankenstein. That's there's actually a version of that on Keep on the Grass.
It sure is. Yeah,
very different.
I write. That was really a very unlyric kind of song for me because it was a little more abstract than a lot of the stuff I do, except for like 20-Pound Jockey. But Buzz is usually way more abstract lyrically. Mm-hmm. Than from what I've found. He uses his words as instruments, and to put and I sing along on some of them, and he's just like, well, just make up whatever you think it sounds like. But I make him
sounds cool first.
I make him write it down every now and then. Reluctantly, he does, and so there's a lot of things that you would never pick up on, and then I get some backstory on what it is. My stuff's usually a lot more in your face. I love singer-songwriter kind of stuff as well, which is not really, well, I mean, I can't say that they love so much music, but I'm definitely into my John Prine and my Chris Christophersons, Steve Young, and all that stuff. I love good songwriters.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when I was listening to the record earlier today, and the two things I kind of got is like kind of mining the same sort of some of it kind of mines the same area that Mark Lanigan does in some of those darker solo records. But I was actually thinking about John Prine.
That's weird. Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to offend you or whatever.
I've never really listened to Mark Lanigan. Some of my friends have worked with him and stuff. But yeah, I guess it's kind of what I have heard is, and I don't really know a particular song. I'm bad that way, but it did sound kind of dark and stuff.
Yeah, it's dark, very vibey, kind of. Like
moody.
It's very moody for sure. And I'm only really started to listen to that dude like past couple years, but I've kind of been catching up, and it occupies a certain type of like songwriter that I tend to gravitate towards.
Well, it's nice that you don't have to have just one style of song you like. It's just different moods call for different things, and when I'm in a mood to listen to songwriters and stuff, it might be Mickey Newberry, 33rd of August or whatever. There's so many good people there that can twist my mind with their lyrics and take me there and paint that picture that I need to see. And I'd say with the Melvins, it's more it paints a picture with the music and what certain random imagery comes out sometimes if you're not familiar with what's going on.
Yeah, it's almost coming from that sort of kind of beef art school to a certain degree of just having fun with the language and putting oblique things together.
I think Steve Miller had that with Pompatus. I guess it was. I think it was him that he brought up that it was Paul McCartney told him that it was great to make up words. Just if they fit the song, it doesn't have to have a meaning.
Yeah, look at Iggy
stuff. Yeah. It's so weird. I love songwriters, but there's some I like songs I'm not really interested in what the guy's singing. I pay no attention to it at all. But it takes certain people that I just can't. I don't even listen to the music barely. It's interesting, but again, I think everybody's got that. All of us have many me's inside me, or inside ourselves, sometimes you're in the mood for kicking back, and sometimes you just want to crank something up really loud and piss some neighbors off,
Right. We can contain multitudes. It's an okay thing. So what kind of stuff usually kind of hooks you as a listener then? Like when you're getting something where you're like, oh wow, what's that? Like what are the kind of things that get your attention?
Last shit that I don't because of my habit with mushrooms and weed. They don't let me drive too much. So because I don't drive too much in this band right here, because I don't drive so much in this band, I have to do all my listening on headphones.
Gotcha.
And usually it's competing with someone else blasting something I might not actually want to listen to. But if I can get my choice to listen to stuff when I do, it's lately I've been getting into chicha music. The South American, Latin American mixed with the African beat.
Oh, cool! Oh, yeah. Of course.
The old school stuff. It was kind of a mixture of garage bands, surf music, African cumbia, and then the Latino sound. The guitar being the beach guitar and garage band kind of vibe going, where it was like, a guy and 12 of his relatives and 2 of their wives and 2 other random chicks, and they'd get together and do these badass party songs, and it's very much that's what I'm into right now, listening to. But I go on and off from that to I like the New Birth Brass Band and Soul Rebels down in New Orleans, and some of that different kind of jazz kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm into big happy stuff now. I don't really listen to. I listen to Ola Belle Reed for old stuff, and she's like mountain woman kind of banjo stuff, and not too much that's new out there. I like this band called Mount Carmel a lot. I never know whether to call them Mount Caramel or Mount Carmel.
Oh yeah, that whole caramel thing. Yeah, caramel thing.
But it's Mount Carmel. It's in Ohio. But those guys are really they're done touring for now. They just don't. There's 2 brothers, and they like playing music for each other. I'm trying to do some songs with one of the guys, Matt, from that band, but yeah, the recordings that they put out are great. The timeless kind of stuff. Could have been done, like 68, 72.
Oh, sure. Like that. Yeah. Where it's still going to sound vital now. It's still gonna, it's not going to sound like of an era necessarily. Now we're back with Mr. J.D. Pinkus. All right. You better,
all right.
Yeah, I feel like
you just hung up on me.
The man was trying to shut us down, is what it seems like to me. But that's a story I'm gonna stick with. We're too dangerous talking about this music stuff.
I don't. Well, maybe it was time to change topics.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me that we got obviously Buzz and Dale were coming at it from the position of being fans and integrating this Butthole Surfers material in. Like, how's that been? Because it's we're talking about some songs that maybe not a minute, but those songs you live with for like a really long time. Like hearing them bring what they bring to it and what they hear out of it, has it kind of recontextualized any of it for you, or is it just sort of like slipping on a glove?
Well, I missed the first part of what you said, but it's about Buzz and Dale bringing. Are you talking about their old songs that they're bringing back?
Playing those those older tunes.
Well, as they mentioned, especially Buzz, he hasn't listened to his records in many years, so he's not really concerned about what it did sound like, but just to have fun with it and make it sound right. I like to. Because I did listen to it, when I was learning the stuff, I have a hard time breaking away from traditional because I want to present their songs the way that I heard them. But he does want us to step out of the box. Steven's really good at that. He can throw some stuff in and separate himself real easy from that stuff, which I think is great, and that's probably why we work good together. Because I can hold down the fort and a lot of that stuff, and he can go off and he does find a lot of really cool, interesting stuff that he's been doing.
Which is cool because you guys are both playing bass in this most recent lineup, which is a trip and a half because, you know, there's been 2 drummers. They did the tour like with the 2 guitar players, but you don't often see bands with 2 bass players going, especially fellas that, you know, both come from a very rock and roll place, but have kind of a different way of getting to there.
Oh, yeah. Well, we played with each other way back in the day, actually. But, yeah, definitely a different way of getting there. And I think to me, other than us being like the village people of metal, when you watch us on stage, that I think Buzz is you know, like he's got, like we were talking about, different sides. I don't have as much of the, I didn't really listen. I listened to radio pop stuff when I was growing up, and I saw Cheap Trick live, and I saw Blondie and all that stuff, but I don't really listen to it. And I don't really like, you know, I don't like learn the songs and do that stuff. I'm much more into, you know, coming up with different stuff or newer stuff or stuff based off of stuff I listen to. And they've got someone that they know they can bounce covers off of, and someone that can do a lot poppier style playing than I can when it comes to some of the, you know, more bouncier songs. And I've got that creepy old man vibe, which is the other side of the band. And you know, that's, I guess, where, you know, I come in. So it's you know, it's good to have eternally youthful Steven on the other side. Well,
Right,
me,
right.
Dale, and Steven are like the same age, but it doesn't look like that. But, yeah, I'm cleaning my belt off right now that I wore on stage for the last tour, and I should have done this to my face a long time ago. But, my guitar strap's looking really good now. Maybe I should try this stuff on my face.
Did you do the thing where like, oh, it's that color?
Clean and renew, protect and preserve. Because like me, the strap was put away wet for a couple of months. Actually, only for about 6 weeks.
Just like a horse.
But it was enough. Yeah. I don't sweat that much because I try not to drink water because it makes me pee, and that's disgusting. So I just I stick to I usually have like 1 Tic Tac in the morning and with a cup of coffee, and then I eat a lemon, and that's pretty much it for the day until nighttime.
That's you sorted for the day, huh?
Yeah, it covers everything for me. 3 of the essential food groups.
So it's on the thing of playing with Steven, I think it works out well that he kind of has like the almost sort of, you know, very engaged big rock kind of thing, and he almost is like working the higher register within the bass a lot of times in some of the arrangements.
Probably because I'm not really thinking in those terms, and so he's that kind of musician who can pick up and like I feel something, I'm doing something, and he could be like, oh shit, I was going to do something down there, but he's already there because he's such a nice guy. I'll play something up here.
Right.
You know, he's really, not only is he just like, this is what Buzz said to me when we talked about it. I said, yeah, I think it'd be really cool, me and him together. And he goes, yeah, Steven's such a great musician and such a really nice guy, and you're a fucking weirdo. And that was,
which of course is high praise coming from Buzz Osborne.
Yeah, I was trying to imitate his voice right there. Yeah. But so yeah, I kind of, you know, I took it as you know, he embraces the weirdness that I can bring, but it really appreciates the technicality and musicianship, and Steven's really come up with some really. I was watching him just yesterday at practice, and on Let It All Be he's doing some really cool stuff that was never on the record. That's got this great tone and this little hang stuff he's doing, and he lets me just, you know, sink into the groove with Dale and work dynamics with that stuff. But again, that's him being the amazing musician he is, and you know, he plays with a pick, I play with fingers.
Yep.
You know, I try, you know, I'm growing my hair out so I look like Steven, but it turns out I look like Einstein. So it's not really. The fan's not as pretty on me as it is on him. I can't quite work it yet, but I'm new to this. Give me about another year, and I'll have the fan down too.
It's like a study in contrast, you know. That's like you got stage left, stage right. You got different things going on.
Yeah. If you get bored of watching one show, you can just look at another one. No problem.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned "Let It All Be" because I felt like that was one of the older Melvins tunes that really benefited quite a bit from this lineup. Obviously, that's a very bass-driven song to begin with. It's it's almost kind of like a record. It's almost like a lowrider, like the war song. Is that one?
Yeah.
But,
I could see that.
It has that same sort of vibe, that just irresistible groove. But it's what I like about it. No, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say I gotta give it up to Buzz because he took a little while to think about which songs he thought would benefit from having both of us play. Yep. We didn't write the set list, Buzz did, and we didn't really have that much time when we got ready for the tour to figure out what we were going to do on it. So now we're pretty locked in, and we're still changing what we do. It still keeps morphing as we go along, but with the there's not much talking in the Melvin set.
Right,
something very drastic to happen, so the flow has to keep going.
Well, and it's funny. No, go ahead. Sorry, don't want to interrupt you.
I was going to say, so like in between songs is instead of stage banner, we do a little bit of jamming while two people tune, and then there's some more jamming while the other person tunes, or however we work it out. We try and make it as seamless as possible, even though a lot of folks have no idea what we're doing. But Buzz is the one that thinks about that as far as the flow goes and what our tuning is going to be when we get in there. When we did the recording, it was a much different situation because I came in and there was kind of a vague understanding what we were doing with two bass players, and it was going to be just on it turned out probably Buzz just wanted the cover songs that we were doing on the tour I was on. Mm-hmm. But I said, hey, well, yeah, I've got some other songs. I had 4 other songs or whatever. And he goes, oh, that's great. Yeah, we'll do those too. And then he said, Steven's got a song and Dale's got a song. I said, great. And so we ended up recording a full length instead of that. But we didn't really sit down and Steven was still working on the Walk of Love and Death.
Oh, right, yeah, the double album, sure.
At the time, yeah, I kind of like this story, but to digress just a little bit, when he was supposed to record that album with them, the basic tracks, he ended up having to do some off shows, which put him about 2 days behind where they were going to be with drums and guitar. And by the time he showed up, they had already recorded all of them. And so,
wow. Sounds like Melvin's land.
Yeah, yeah. So he was kind of, I didn't realize this at the time, but he was still recording that stuff. And then here I am bringing all these songs for him to learn. And so he kind of let me direct a little bit on what, how to, because I hear different bass lines in my head, but he encouraged me to kind of ask him what I was hearing, because he was spread pretty thin at that point. And
I bet. Yeah.
So I kind of point him in a direction, and he'd take off, and so that's not really a good representation necessarily, is my point of how we can play together. And I think we've kind of through the touring and through Buzz's set list have really felt how both of us play against each other, with each other. And it's and play off each other. And I think if we do get a chance to actually sit down and write like this, which would be something they really haven't had a chance to do since, say, the big business guys, like Senile Animal, which is one of my favorite albums they've ever done with the big business fellas.
It's one of the best. It's maybe one of my favorite. It's definitely one of my favorite Melvins record, and maybe my favorite. Oh yeah, Melvins
me
record.
too.
I love it so much.
By far. And
just played with those dudes,
actually. The attention to detail on that record is what makes it what it is, not to mention the talent that's on there, and and the vocals, how they lock up. Those guys, Jared and Buzz sounds so amazing together. Dale and Buzz have been singing forever together. So how Jared fit in, and
You brought
Cody
those
on
big,
top of that.
all those big harmonies get brought in.
Yeah. He blends so nice with Buzz. With me, it's like bringing in, I'm like the little George of the group, like,
Right.
I'm like Frank Zappa with little George. It's like, okay, sing. Okay, no, never mind. Don't do that. But, we're learning how to blend all those things in as well. But, I had a southern creepy old man groove. To something that nobody wants to hear, a southern, greasy old man groove.
Well, and
play on.
It's funny too because of the many folks that have played with the Melvins. Like I was trying to think about this. I don't think there's anyone that comes from your background that's like played with them before. And there's always like they're kind of an ever evolving, ever changing amoeba. It's all kind of.
Mark D was from El Paso.
Oh, that's right. That's right, Mark D.
Yeah, but I am the only one that's ever played with a pick. I'm without a pick with them. Is what they told me. Which I thought Trevor, but that was stand-up bass.
That's stand-up bass.
So it's a little different. But I guess he even played with a pick when he did the Houdini tour. So that's kind of a little different vibe for him.
But that's cool though, because like I said, it's like studying contrast, right? And again, Buzz is clearly coming at it from the place of being a fan of y'all's styles. So being able
I also
to
think he doesn't want to play anymore, so he doesn't have to. He just sits there and holds his guitar and does performance art.
And just
he's like doing balloon. He's doing balloon animals now in 3 of our songs.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and there's certainly less ground to cover, and that was one of the things that from note one of the first show I saw of you guys playing. I was like, oh man, this is beastly. There's a lot happening here with like. Almost before you guys even get into it, it's like, all right, this is, grab the seatbelt and lock it in because here we go. And
and Big John, a sound man who they had before I was jamming with him on this. It's been a while since I played with him. They started working with Big John and John Hopkins, and he's one that loves to push things to the limit, and he actually performs doing sound. He performs with the band. He's doing tap delay stuff back there. It's been really a joy to work with him as far as doing that. When you're having 2 bass players and finding where we're at, he likes the sounds we've got. I even changed amps on them, so I was a little worried. But to put both of our sounds, Steven with a pick and a Galen Kruger. And me, right now, I went from an acoustic 370, which couldn't keep up volume-wise, and I lucked into with the guy who designs our cabinets, Sean, it says blown on some of them, but he's.
Oh, right.
I'm trying to think of
it was Emperor before.
It was Emperor and Tyrant.
Tyrant Town.
It's Tyrant cabinets.
I should know, buddy. I was literally playing one of those yesterday.
Well, I'm stoned, so that's why I forgot. I play through all of this too all the time, and I go bowling with him all the time back home. But he turned me on to Dark Glass from Finland, and it's a D-class bass amp that's 900 watts at 4 ohms, and the thing is, I love it. But anyway, so I had to switch amps, and I switched to the Dark Glass. And I only blew one at the end of the tour, and that was from probably extreme heat and really weird power at a club in Salt Lake, Utah.
Sure.
But they got me another one, and I love the sound of this thing. But it's kind of like a 370 on high the way I've got it set right now. It's like but a little bit cleaner. It's a Class D amp, and it's got what they call microtubes, which I guess is the technology from what I heard from, say, jet fighter planes, those little tiny tubes.
Oh, sure.
So they're pretty,
of course.
Yeah, they're pretty durable, and it's got 2 kinds of distortion, and they seem to brag about this one. I'm really bad about the 2 names of each one. It's like V and a B something, I don't know. But I use the one that's a little bit more old school and a little bit more raw, and the other one's a little bit more new school metal sounding to me as far as that goes. But you can blend it in any way you want, and shape it many different ways. And it even comes with a pedal with it's got one pedal that you can switch settings with, but you can get another one from with 3, so you can actually save a few different distortion settings.
Oh, nice.
But I don't even use the distortion pedal when I'm playing with the Melvins. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, you just have you just have it plugged in, and you get it turned up so you get the grind, and off you go, right?
Yeah. I guess so. The distortion pedals to me take out a lot of the low end a lot of the time. So if I can get anything that can give me the grind and I can play with my guitar and getting feedback, then that's really this is the beauty of some of the older amps that were quite less wattage, should I say, and you can get that same tone, but at a volume you can compete with all these other people. So without putting it through the monitors.
Well, that's good stuff. Seeing as how it is in reverb.com, we should probably move on to some other stuff. I can hear some people's attention span waning, but I always love hearing about that kind of stuff, and it's interesting. So, did you factor in the situation that you're playing in as far as for getting this, or was it just more like a happy coincidence that you needed to change it up right when you were?
No, I needed to change it up. That's what my point being is that John was a little bit concerned that when I changed that tone, he was going to have a problem fitting me in somewhere.
Right.
But I was able to use something different, and Bose doesn't put anything but vocals in the monitors. So even if I put my bass in my monitors, it doesn't sound the same on stage.
Right.
So it's kind of to be able to compete volume wise. It's necessary to me, if it sounds good on stage when everyone's playing together, then there's less for a sound man to do.
Absolutely, and
you can't have one quiet guy being mic'd and pumped through all the monitors, and it's not going to be quite the same.
Yeah, you got Harvey in the corner with his Fender Champ, and you can't hear him over the stacks over there.
Exactly. yeah, exactly. And then you got Al with four SVTs on the other side. Yeah.
Oh man, that sleep setup is it's ridiculous. Every time I see Matt play, and I think I've told it. I might have told you, but I had the best Matt Pike story. I was taking this gigantic, so heavy it's like a dark matter 215 cab. Taller than me, and kind of rolling down the practice space. Coming back from that was bar. I had to store it in my space, and I run into Matt Pike and the kind of thing you never see outside of like a sitcom or something. He walks by, does a straight up cartoon double take, and just goes, "Yeah," and gives me the double thumbs up because it's just ridiculous. And of course, Matt Pike's gonna love it because it's his setup. It's like oh my god, you could have a whole Guitar Center annex just based on his setup.
I hear he's finally turning 15 this year.
So, you got to keep it. You got to keep it real, but then also there's a certain point where it just becomes a little bit preposterous as well. And if that's the point, then cool. That's the point.
Well, Al is actually. I understand because John does their sound as well, but they actually use a. Al sets his up with a little slightly different tone for each one.
Yeah, and that is noticeable if you're the kind of person.
Yeah, Matt, he just plays through a Mason Boogie dual rectum fryer that he hides on the back of the stage. No, I'm kidding. No, he's got all his shit sounds. It's pretty much the same except for one of his amps, for one I understand. But Al actually tries to dial them all up a little bit different.
Well, and it does have a thing, and there is something about that many cabinets pushing that much air that it is a different experience. For sure. I mean, the most extreme example is probably Jucifer, where it's just all right, here we go. This is again.
Well, there's something to be said about a sound bath, and all of us like that. And then it also goes into. Are you familiar with the 432 tuning? That's the actual original 432A.
The frequency of the. Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's because of the brass players and the woodwinds got tuned in the orchestra. They decided to use 440, and even though the strings could change to 432, the woods and the brass were all dialed into 440. And so that's why we ended up at that frequency. But there's been a lot of good studies at the 432 frequency as to what it does to generate growth in life.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more in like the harmonic resonance. Supposed to be, I've read a whole couple things about that actually. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, we're sound bathing in the wrong frequency with sleep is all my point was.
Yeah, makes sense. It explains a lot, right?
Yeah. They came so close. No, kidding. I just got to play with them, so that was really a treat for me. They asked me to do that, and I took on, I don't know how many people, but a lot more than me out on the other side of the stage. Thanks to them bringing me out to St. Pedro.
Yeah, and you opened up that show with your banjo music too, right?
Yeah.
And that's got to be like, how's that with a whole crowd, expecting to see those dudes do their thing, and then you're like, hey y'all, here we go. Like, how was that?
They were so stoned. I told them I was asleep, and they believed me.
I love it.
No, I whooped their ass into shape, man. We all got along, man. We all got along really well.
That's good, because it's definitely, sometimes there's people that kind of stick to their strict genre classifiers and want all the bands to sound the same. Well, here are all the metal bands. Here are all these bands, that band. I like it when it's just like the correlating factor is good. That's my favorite. Yeah, well, that was Phil Graham's thing. Bill Graham. Presents was Phil was his lesser known brother. Yeah, exactly. So, we got Phil Graham promoting this show. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. But yeah, there'd be like three different styles of bands playing on the same bill, and it worked. This Armadillo did that kind of, but you'd have, it was more the audience. The Armadillo in Austin would have, the hippies, the rednecks, and the cowboys all in one room. Yeah. They didn't know what to make all that. That's what Texas has always been like, I guess. I actually just started reading the John Fogerty autobiography, and it was really interesting to see his take on Creedence playing shows with the Grateful Dead and such, and just their different approaches to doing things and things along those lines. That's fascinating stuff. Yeah. I just saw a little bit of that Skinner movie, about 2/3 of it, because it wouldn't rewind all the way to the beginning when it popped on. But yeah, the way they discussed it is the way I've always thought. You're in competition with every band, even though you love it's like two MMA fighters. They might be best friends in training, but when you get up on stage, you want to blow every other band in the world off the map. If you're not, then I'm not sure what you're doing it for. But solo is a little bit different because but when you're with a band, you got a team, and like any team, you want to high five at the end of theoretically, and not like I'm in a band where I high five everybody when we're done. But maybe we can start. I don't know if Buzz would be. We slap each other on the ass and say "good game." Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's nice to see bills where the bands kind of push each other to work harder and dig deeper too. Then you get better results out of both of them, rather than just if. I'm not saying anyone's sitting on their laurels. Most of the time it's guitar players. Most of the time it's guitar players who are at war. Because, you don't want to be you got that first guy that comes on and goes, look at me, wow, look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah, so you got to do something better than look at you. So when you get up there, maybe you get up there and you more metal style, you go, hug a dick, hug a dick, hug a dick, hug a dick, hug a dick. But, I don't think about hugging dicks anymore. Actually, never did. But that's the pull quote right there. Hug a dick. Yeah, but that's kind of the way like the way guitar players and bass players talk to drummers. All the. We did that on the last Honky record with Dale. Actually, we did Moby Dick a cappella. It was the dick in the butt, dick in the butt, dick in the butt, big fat dick in the butt, 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 big fat dick in the butt, dick in the butt, fat cock, dick in the butt, fat cock, dick in the butt, dick in the butt, dick in the butt, dick in the butt. So yeah, it's a cappella version.
But
Right,
that's a
acapella.
language. That's a language that you have to. I guess there's Pat Boone Debbie Boone, Pat Boone Debbie Boone. Pat, that's a Devo beat, you know.
Well, that just reminds me of when they did that. There was that Dead Kennedys tribute. No Means No did a Forward to Death, and they did it 100% acapella, which I was like, what a brilliant move. I love that kind of stuff. You know, it's because. For me, like, Dead Kennedys are one of those bands that, like, all right, how are you going to try to, like, do a tribute to Dead Kennedys? Unless you got to do your own thing to it, you know? They're such an iconic band that you're not going to necessarily improve it. All you can do is do something totally wild and totally different. And I was like, wow, a cappella. All right, there you go.
Yeah. You could do all of the songs. If you want to do something very different, do all the songs with a really non-irritating voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the tune y'all did with Terry, the Bikini Kill song. You guys did that cool recording of Rebel Girl, the kind of based off of what you guys did live.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the miracle of the internet and the song only being 3 chords, it was really easy to pull off. But we wanted to do a song with her, and we knew that her favorite band was Bikini Kill. And so we listened to some Bikini Kill songs.
Yeah, what a tune. That one's a monster song, too. It's so good.
And that one really fit her, and, you know, so that one was a lot of fun to do. I love Terry. She was such an amazing person, such a great talent. I mean, what you see is sincere and very pure, and her lyrics, her presentation, just amazing. She's got such a great career ahead of her. I can't wait to see what she's like when she's an old man like me.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse, and that's it's a trip because that was actually was it that tour? Yeah, I think it was that tour was the first time I actually finally saw a full set of them. I saw the Butcherettes play with Queens of the Stone Age, but the friend I was with was dragging ass, and we got there like right as they were finishing the last song. I was like, wow, that sounded awesome. Who the hell was that? Like, it's this band, the Butcherettes. I'm like, fuck, I would have liked to have seen all of that show, but I didn't at all because my friend was dragging ass, and then
she like sleeps.
No, I was just gonna say then I was like, wow, this is better than I thought it was gonna be when I saw she's a powerhouse, man. She's like a little Freddie Mercury.
She sleeps about 18 hours of the day, and then she does that thing, and then she goes back to sleep again.
Like a cat or something, right?
I don't know, but she liked to sleep, that's for sure. But she was extremely funny, and just really together. It was just so nice to see somebody that was really like coming from somewhere different, out of the box, that was just really pulling stuff off. No matter who she plays with, she's just got this thing. Some folks got it, some folks don't.
Yep.
Some folks are me, and I have friends that got it.
Well, it's and she's again former guest of the show too. I had her on the show previously, and she insisted that to buy me tacos when we before we did the show. She was very adamant about it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're the one on my show. I should be buying the tacos. She's like, no, I'm gonna buy them. Oh, okay, all right, whatever. That's cool, you know.
Well, she doesn't eat very much. She has like a half clove of garlic, and maybe she'll get crazy and take a hit off the joint. But no, when we're on the road, she just nibble on garlic all day long. So she can give you her meal ticket, man.
Yeah, right, exactly. Sure, that makes sense. So, so talk to me about, you know, you're in a situation where Butthole Surfers were around. You guys were doing stuff for forever and a day, and there was a big old gap. There's a big old gap where there wasn't anything going on. I mean, I know that you did the Daddy Longhead for a hot minute there, and you played with Helios Creed, I think, for a bit, right?
Yeah. I left the Butts, I was doing this Daddy Longhead, and then I was doing this band Skinny Leonard, and then for Skinny Leonard we had singer that got thrown in jail, and then we had Ernie Locke from Tenderloin came in, and then one of our guys went to rehab. And anyway, so we ended up starting Honky, and then Honky was what I did for a long time after the Daddy Longhead stuff. And yeah, I was pretty young. I had a kid, worked at a ranch out in Lockhart, Needlewald area, and did sound at emos, recorded bands at my house, played in Honky, and didn't sleep very much. Had a kid, and just kept doing my thing and learned the grind. I think when due to the which I was talking to someone in an interview about the lack of credits, which everyone loved about Butthole Surfers, including me, was great and kept the band mysterious until you leave the band and nobody knows what you did for the band.
Right.
So
it's
so
great
really,
till it isn't.
So it really doesn't help me in selling any of my shit to, people don't know what I did, what I didn't do. And it was an eye opener, and I just started down at the bottom again, and just didn't really have much as far as connections go because I was living in the middle of the country, and just kept writing music. And now I play with the Butts again when we do play stuff, and playing with the Melvins. I did play with Helios. Did a couple albums with him.
Yeah, what a amazing and I feel incredibly underrated guitar player. I mean, God, what a badass, right?
Yeah, he Chrome Half Machine Lip Smooth is one of my favorites.
Nothing like it.
Nothing. I think that was a big game changer for me to hear the freedom of that and what year that came out in. I heard it, of course, later on. I didn't hear it, 76. that was not on my play. I was in Georgia at the time,
Right. It's hard to think about, and we talked about this, but like there wasn't the internet. You couldn't just call up like any old band and listen to everything they've ever put out,
Yeah, but I was only 9 years old in 76. I'm a youngster. I was a youngster then. I'm an old man now. But so when I did catch on to that stuff, it was cool. It ended up he played on a Butthole Surfer song that we didn't give him credit on, and so then I played on a couple of his albums, and I wrote pretty much all of one album. That it's a really interesting story with that, but I won't go into I won't bore you with the details.
Oh man, that's not boring. That's ratings, my friend. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a different way of doing business, I guess, and treating other folks that he works with. I didn't quite dig it, but anyways, I wrote pretty much like all the music on this album called Activated Condition. I brought a drummer up there and we rehearsed a bunch of songs. We got up there and we had 2 weeks to do it, and he said, I said, okay, well, these are my songs, playing like 11 songs, and he goes, oh, I don't have any songs. So basically recorded the bottom tracks, and we did get one song out of them, which I really liked. That was on there called Water, and that was one he had for years and years and didn't play it with anybody, and that song alone is worth that album. I wish he would have written more, but so the rest of it is like me writing bottom tracks with my friend, and then Helios doing the top tracks. It took about a year for him to do it, and then I had it mastered because he did it on mismatched home stereo speakers. I basically did it on an 8-track.
Wow,
and
okay.
Bounced it. Yeah, I did it on an 8-track, bounced it down to 2 tracks, so he would have the other 6 tracks to do top tracks on. And so he sent it to me, and then I mastered it with this guy named Jerry Tubb in Austin, and he did the best he could with me, and spent a lot of dough just doing the mastering. But I wanted it to be more of like a Half Machine Lip Smooth vibe. There were no gaps in between the songs.
That's probably one of the things that blew my mind most about that record when I first heard it. Is just like kind of one long piece, but like there was like it vibed its way through with the different songs, and it just I never heard anything like it before, and that's back when I was
just snippets.
Yep. And I worked at a record store at the time, and like that was one of those records where I was like, man, like I never heard anything like this. This is like I want to keep starting it over again and see. All right,
and that's where you could like fart into a mic, and it was cool, which I've always used as a comparison to like bands that do what Butthole Surfers do. And I guess Butthole Surfers were around before I was in the band, you know, for years and years. And if you fart into the mic after you've been around for years and years, it's kind of funny. If you just start out and you've got a 4-track and you just fart in a mic, it's not that funny. So there's like some weird acceptance of being able to fart into a mic. But they did that in '76. They farted into a mic, and that's on Half Machine Lip Moves.
That's right.
A 4-track, and there's actually a fart on that album, which I thought was very liberating for myself. And the other thing about that is, I don't know why I always compare it to this song, but I've never heard a riff dragged so much into the ground as I had to ask who did it when I heard it. And it was Lenny Kravitz. And it was, I'm not sure what the name of the song is, but it goes...
Oh, yeah. What is that song called? I know the one you're talking about, but it's just the one... It's almost like...
It over and over and over again, and then it changes to a different key to do it, and then it comes back to do it even more. And Half Machine Lip Moves was the total antithesis, I think that's the real word, right?
Yep.
Of that, to where it did not burn. You put on, like you said, you put on the whole album to hear Abstract Nympho, or Turn Around. You don't want that song to last 12 minutes. You want to listen to the whole album and hear that 2 minutes of it again. And that I think that's the difference of that kind of vibe. They pulled that off where you wanted to hear the whole album just to hear those riffs again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like watching a David Lynch movie or something. Like, you know, like you're gonna get to like the Frank Booth part, and you know it's gonna be super killer, but like the build up to it is part of the anticipation. You know?
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty good.
And that just to shit on Lenny Kravitz a little bit, I want to say like that's also just like the butt rock version of you know, Ron Ashton riff too. Like it's not even. I'm like, really? This is everyone's flipping out over this. Huh? I mean, it's fine, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not fine, and I liked it when he ripped his crotch. I liked it when he had John Paul Jones play with him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which at least he tried to make it somewhat interesting.
Well, good for him, I guess. You know, whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, enough about Lenny Kravitz.
So so you came in. It was after Rembrandt Pussy Horse.
Rembrandt Pussy Horse was actually the first album those guys ever recorded.
Yeah.
So everything's out of order the way it was released. But yeah, I joined the band when Cream Corn and Rembrandt were being released, and I was on Locust Abortion Technician through. Then the order was pretty straightforward afterwards. But before I was in the band, a lot of that stuff was released out of order. And Rembrandt Pussy Horse was actually when two of the guys, Kitty and Paul, lived at Studio D in San Antonio, and they had all different kinds of, I won't say Al-Qaeda musicians, because that would get you like flagged or something. All kinds of musicians on there. And then then King did the Brown Reason to Live, and then King and Teresa was PCPPEP.
Yep.
And then they did the Cream Corn one, which was a little span of time right there. That was pretty much right before I joined. And then Locust was when I was I didn't record on it until I was 18. I joined those guys when I just graduated high school, and I was 17 years old. I left home at 15, so it wasn't like a big deal to join up with them. But joined up with them, played my first show January 10th, 1986.
Damn.
I believe. What's that?
I said damn. That's it.
Yeah.
And that was done on 8-track, right? It's there's not a lot of tracks on that one.
Yeah, it was 8-track. Yeah. Well, Paul did most of the engineering. He had really cool concepts, and compressing a snare, running it backwards and compressing it again. He'd do some weird shit. But it was a lot of fun. And Paul, he deserves, like, he finally got famous working with a band that was not at all his style.
Right.
And it sold 1 million copies. And as my friend Danny Barnes told me once, that he didn't make this up, but he said someone told him his best piece of advice probably for anyone is don't get famous doing something you don't like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, but he got his payoff, and he worked with some of the guys he really liked a lot. He didn't appreciate junkies at that point.
Yeah.
So, it didn't make it too easy for him. I shouldn't speak for him on any of this stuff, because it's just my interpretation of it. But I know he's had enough of that particular drug, anyways.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So,
I mean, it does a real good job of fucking up everything,
Yeah, but some folks use it for like, okay, I'm not in charge anymore. Well, fuck it, then I'm just going to do this, and they'll just direct me to where I'm going next. And I think there's a lot of that happened in the record industry, because you had a lot of people that might be in charge of some of this stuff before they have a large corporation behind them, and then all of a sudden they realize that their opinion or the direction they want the band to go in is no longer going to be, their opinion no longer matters. And at that point, a lot of people just feel that are control freaks, feel that, okay, well, if I'm out of that control, I'm going to start doing this.
Right.
And it's just something my perception of people I've been around, it's never been my drug of choice. Again, I'm much more of I used to be acid and weed and definitely some whiskey. Now it's more mushrooms and weed, but that's my thing. Never, I did have the dark ages of the pick-me-up stuff. I think when you're younger, you wonder why people that are older still, start doing like, speed or coke or any of that stuff. And then you get a little older, and then all of a sudden you got to take out the trash, and you have it out by the street at 6 o'clock in the morning at your house. Then you have to play a show at 1 o'clock at night. You don't have all that energy anymore, and you want to feel like 20 years younger for 40 minutes. So a lot of folks get into that. Luckily, that's all gone for me and most of my friends. But
it's almost like a
dark ages.
It's almost like a vampiric thing, though. I mean, you get those benefits, but there's other costs that are involved.
Yeah, you kind of got to keep it going, and that's the problem, But like I tell most people, is I do pace myself. It's a fast pace, but it's a pace, and I try to slow my roll a little bit, and personally for me, it's worked out. But it's hard. Cycles are hard to break out of.
Well, definitely.
You really gotta take a deep, dark look at yourself and say, you know what? Maybe this shit's killing me, and maybe I do want to live a little bit longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that would be okay, right?
Yeah. I thought this shit would have killed me by now, but now that it hasn't, maybe I'll change my mind.
Well, and harkening back over to Buzz, he doesn't go like shouting it from a megaphone or anything, but he's a guy that that's a relatively straight-laced young man, and but I appreciate, and something that I agree with, is the fact that as long as you're bringing the damage and bringing your best thing to it, like it's sort of like a hands-off sort of situation. But when you're coming at it for playing music as like you're doing this to do a thing, and you want to be able to bring it, and you want to be able to deliver. I've seen some bands not be able to do that, and that's
Oh yeah, totally. Well, you think there's a lot of reasons for that. And the thing that I love about Buzz is that he thinks I'm crazy for going down doing ayahuasca in Peru, and so it's going to kill me and stuff like that. I love that about Buzz, but then I think it's like I wish Buzz would just try. And there's not one single drug that I've done, and weed's not a drug because it's only one ingredient. I did find out ayahuasca is the original drug because it's actually 2 ingredients. It's leaves from one tree and roots from another. weed, mushrooms, not a drug. It's a medicine. But anyways, I can't think of any one thing.
Yeah, try telling that to a cop in Alabama, right?
Right. But I don't see anything that Buzz would benefit from at all. I couldn't say like, oh, Buzz, if you just took this mushroom, this would be... No. I couldn't say, hey, Buzz, if you just smoke this joint. No, because I really wouldn't want to be around him if he did any of those things.
Yeah.
He's an intense individual as it is.
He's already kind of out there. Yeah.
He's out there, but he doesn't. That kind of medicating, like, to me, I kind of know what everything does to me, and I feel like I have a good grip on it. But I think his good grip is knowing that nothing is really good for him.
Yeah.
And I being on the outside, cannot think of anything at all that would change him for any way that would make him more enjoyable to me, or more productive in this world or anything. He's perfect the way he is. There's nothing at all for me. I know. I got to get like certain mindsets for certain things sometimes, and I medicate myself appropriately. I'm not the most social person. Mushrooms really help with that. There's certain things that I feel I medicate myself with.
Sure.
And but I try to be open and honest about it, so that way I don't feel like I'm being creepy and hiding out doing shit.
Well, yeah, and
backstage or back in the Sprinter doing hot rails off a knife or something.
Well, it's kind of a known thing then, and that I love that book. Our Band Could Be Your Life. It's sort of, I adore Fugazi, but they have the most boring chapter. It's like, hey, they were a band, they went around and did stuff, and everybody was cool with it. Okay, right on. But like, y'all's chapter was
disclaimer. That book is full of shit.
You think so? All right, so let's.
He never talked to a motherfucking single one of us.
So it's anecdotal. Okay.
Some of his quotes were my quotes that he said King said and First Spice said. All this shit. All he did was read some other people's stuff. And if anybody wants to know anything about Butthole Surfers, James Burns, his book. I have to be honest. I only read it up to the point where I left the band, and he nailed everything up to that point. I wasn't so interested in the rest. But he and the beginning of it is
that's the Let's Go to Hell, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the beginning of it is like what the stuff in church that most folks don't pay attention to, like Leviticus. It's like, and then he begot so and so who was born in so and so in this town of so and so, who begot this who became the bass player, the 13th bass player of the band, and but just goes through this very, very dry but very factual timeline. But yeah, that's stuff that I tried. Someone just gave me that book, and I was like, I'm not even bothered with this. I just tried to read our chapter, but if the other chapters are as badly written as that one, that's my opinion. But everyone's memories are different, but I'm pretty sure his was wrong.
Well, it almost seemed like he was concentrating on the flying circus sort of aspect of it at the expense of all else, and it definitely it's the only one for me. It seemed like a bit of an outlier because it's the only one that kind of seemed like it was okay. This is like a controversialized accounting of this, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that guy. I'm not going to speak for him. He's welcome to come on the show. I'll talk all about it, but
yeah, I've said that. It's not the first time I've said that about his book, and I'm just I actually do think I've met the fella before, but he definitely didn't interview me to put quotes around anything I said, and the stuff I did see was not what I said, and I don't know. Got unimpressed by that book myself because I figured everything else in the book must be bullshit too.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're looking at
Burns,
it as the dude that lived it, and you're saying it's not accurate, then I would see where you would maybe think it's not that great of a book.
I also read a book on memory and on time, but in memory we do rewrite our own memory. So maybe he was right, and I just rewrote mine to where it just seems like his is wrong. I don't know, but the stuff that James wrote that all rings a bell to me. There's nothing in that I'm like that didn't happen. I didn't say that, or nothing like that.
Right.
But not many people care, and most people forget what they read about. I don't usually read about bands. I read about Skinner and Allman Brothers, and I read a book called Hitman. But other than that, I read a bunch of stuff that interests me, which is usually a little out there for some folks. But
it's almost like the parallax view, or what do they call it? The Rashomon effect, right? Where like everyone kind of like sees things from like the perspective that they're at, maybe. And
sure, yeah, definitely. But this guy came from the outside and was picking up stories that he read from whatever, I don't know. There's no fact checking going on. But yeah, one thing I can say about the guys in the Butts is they always treated me right. They always treated me good after I left the band, while I was in the band, still to this day. Never was ripped off by those guys, and those guys are amazing people, great friends, and lifelong buddies. It's so nice to be in a band, or have been in a band with people you can say that with. And I can't think of any bands, well, maybe one, that I would feel that way, that I don't feel that way about. Melvins, was in them, out of them, all that. We still talk all the time. Just privileged to play with some of the folks I get to play with. But it's just nice to know that you hear all the trash stories out there, and knowing I've played with, and I try and do my business the way the folks who brought me up doing business do it, and working fairly with people. None of us make enough money to where you can really be a dick to someone else.
Right.
It's not like I made $5 million last year.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But no one ripped me off of my $10, so I'm happy.
Well, and so if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the last for that the first go round, right? The last Butthole Surfers record was Independent Worm Saloon, right? Like the one on Capitol.
For you,
yeah. And that's and I distinctly remember because I was, when that came out, that's when I was working at a record store, and I love that record. I think it's like the big guitar solo record, and one of the songs I love was Ballad of Naked Men, which I didn't realize till years later. That's you on the banjo on that one, right?
Yeah. I got to do that with John Paul Jones live playing bass in front of me, and Paul playing guitar and King playing congas, and we recorded it live. That was pretty surreal for me.
Fucking JPGA on the bass. You could do worse, right?
Yeah. He's And in my High Times Fantasy magazine dreams of smoking weed and listening to Zeppelin, never once was I like 15 and go, yeah, I can't wait to do this banjo song with this guy.
Right, it wasn't top of mind, as they say.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, but yeah, that was cool. So yeah, basically, I'd say John Paul Jones basically brought my banjo playing to life, and that's why I'm such a huge banjo playing star right now.
And that's I don't know. I was gonna say that's tough competition. Is it tough competition? I don't know anything about the banjo playing world. Now that I think about it,
there's no competition as far as I'm concerned. Everyone I know can actually play the fucking thing. I wrestle the thing like I wrestle a bass.
Right? Yeah.
But that makes you. I'm a songwriter. Yeah, I like writing songs, and I like doing some weird stuff and making weird noises. But when it comes down to it, I'm really about the whole song, and there's so many people out there that can my buddy Dana Barnes, who worked with me on this record, he won he got $50,000 from Steve Martin for the Excellence in Banjo one year, just out of nowhere.
Oh man.
That
guy plays banjo. I forget about that.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a mixture between Dean Martin and Steve Martin.
Lovely. That's awesome.
I use it as a mode of writing songs and stuff. But when I asked Danny one time, I was like, "Hey, show me some shit, man. What am I doing here?" And he goes, "Oh man, I love what you're doing." And he told me once, he goes, because he's as original as it gets, but he goes, I learned too many other people's styles. He goes, don't learn anyone's styles, just do what you do. And that's always been how I played, you know, and that's good and that's bad. That's probably why I don't enjoy playing as many covers as, say, the Melvins.
Right.
They love, like, digging on other people's vibes. I really want to explore what myself usually a lot of the time, so I'm not really so into covers. I'm trying to get into covers, I guess, because that's how we start practices off and sound checks. But
yeah, well, you did. I saw you play. What was it? Sway, that Stone song.
Yeah, we played Sway on the recording. It's, I can't say I'm a Beatles fan, and that's gonna. These guys love the Beatles, and I want to hold your hand. Buzz was like, I want you to sing this. No. I sang on it though. I did the creepy old man vocals like I should have on the breakdown where when he says, "And when I touch you," because that to me sounds like a creepy old man. And when I touch you, so I did. That's me. But yeah, other than that, I did the scream and some other stuff. But yeah,
but that's like the Moving Sidewalks type arrangement.
Yeah,
too.
the Moving Sidewalks version of it, and that's what he tried to rope me in with on it. But yeah, I think it sounds much better with both singing, and it's a good version. I love the version. But yeah, he wanted me to do the James Gang one, and I didn't really, and that was a cover by them, and I didn't really relate to the lyrics, so I changed the lyrics around, and I think it was Bob Burt from drummer from John Spencer, old drummer from Sonic Youth. Yeah, I think he said when he listened to it that he loved it because it sounded like a pissed off 14-year-old singing it. And I was like, wow,
right, yeah, totally.
Thanks.
Exactly. Well, and that's the one that was the James Gang song "Stop," and then you kind of mash up. Sure, they had a mash up with the "Moving to Florida," the classic Butthole Surfers song.
Which is where you're at right now.
Right, not anymore. Thankfully, I'm back now. But yeah, man, that whole state's like a jockstrap, man. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think I'm allowed back there for a couple more years. At least that's what I tell everyone. So that way they don't ask me to go.
It's just like, I mean, I like alligators and that part's cool, but like the rest of it, no way, not for me.
You know the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Is it? Let's say if it's a joke, no. Is it a joke?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a joke, man.
Okay, yeah. Then all right.
Yeah,
no.
one you see later and one you see in a while.
Those are actually alligators are actually one of my favorite animals, and then I think they're totally cool, man. I love everything about them. But
does it have something to do with the big mouth part?
Yeah, I don't know. They just yeah, there you go. All right, you got me.
Sorry.
It did trip me out though that there's all these. I was watching the local news and I swear to you, 90% of the news items were about alligators being involved. Like this one's in a swimming pool. This guy grabbed one and was in a liquor store for some reason.
Some beer with it. Yeah.
I was like, everything is alligators. What are alligators just involved?
It's cool if you have one. You just can't saw one off under 18 inches.
That's definitely
if it comes in a salt alligator.
Salt alligator, yeah, exactly. That's a song title right there.
Salt water alligator. No, good. All right. Yeah. So Florida.
Anyway, alligators, Florida. We get it. So you talked about with the Butthole Surfers stuff that there wasn't the strict accreditation of who did what where. I mean, I guess the most extreme example of that is Harry to Steven, I think, right, where there's not even song titles. It's like pictographs, and that.
Oh yeah. It was horse taking a pee and man with feces throwing it at woman with baseball bat, and stuff like that, and a big syringe. That was Rocky. That was a song called Rocky. But yeah, we had our own names for it, but we just wanted to hear what radio stations would call each one when it deciphered the picture. So yeah, I guess publishing that might have been an issue
Right. I mean, it's something that, like, when I first saw it, like, I thought it was about the coolest goddamn thing I've seen in the whole world when I saw it. But then,
yeah, but that's where art meets the business. You know, it's like
Right.
it is. You know, some people are independently wealthy, like Steve Albini, and they can get away with doing songs about fucking. But then there's other people that aren't really rich, and we got to kind of play the game too. So it's like a little different. But yeah, so that's a big, like, we'll take a loss for the art right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we won't find any of those on iTunes with those names on it, I guess.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's one of those things that it just kind of seemed like that was something you guys were sort of tripping on it, and like, hey, let's do this, that'll be cool. And then the times didn't exactly match up with that as far as as the world moved on to what the world is, it didn't exactly match up with the modern world, right?
The truth of the matter is that we were just lazy. And by we, I mean I must have been the laziest because I had the least amount to do with most of those, except for the back of Locust Abortion Technician. I found that with our buddy Grux in San Francisco in a dumpster, that picture. But other than that, most of the time it was just get the front and the back together, and that was tough enough because of technology and where we lived and how we lived. And so to the idea of like putting credits and all that stuff and all that information, that would have been a headache, man. So we just sent in the bare minimum and got good looking album covers. One time we did this thing called a Texas Trip, and someone had the idea to get a bunch of fire ants on and tape them down on top of this piece of cardboard, and they were still alive. We sent them to Chicago, and it was called the Texas Trip, so fire ants were perfect, but they said some of them were still alive when it made it up there to them.
Oh, man.
But that's yeah,
that's
were taped down. They were taped down.
Oh, okay, that makes it okay then. All right.
I mean, there were no fire ants for hurt in the making of that album cover.
Yeah, where's that disclaimer, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we also did a cockroach snuff movie one time with a guy named Jim Cohen from New York. He came down with his 16 mil camera, and we caught a palmetto bug, threw it in the freezer. Taped it on its back, filmed a snuff movie where we set it on fire with alcohol, mounted the camera on top of it, and then we pulled out his organs while he was still alive. We let him get alive still first from it. It was pretty brutal.
That's the guy, Jim Cohen. Didn't he do?
Jim Cohen.
Yeah, Jim. Jem, right?
Jem. Yeah, he did he filmed the Danceteria show. Which was a pretty famed show. Gibby was playing his penis with drumsticks for some of that.
He did that Fugazi documentary too. It's really good. Really well done.
I didn't see that.
It's man, I haven't seen it like since it came out, and that was a long time back. But I remember everything I seen by that dude was pretty good. Didn't he do like an RAM video or something too? Like he's a.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really keep up on a lot of that. But I do know that when Fugazi stayed out at our house and I was sitting with Ian, I pulled out a joint. It was just me and him, and we were sitting on this little valley. We lived in a little valley out in Driftwood, and I started smoking a joint, and we're sitting there, and he goes, well, how much do you think you spend on weed each year? And I'm like, wow, good question. I thought about it. I was like, probably like $10,000. And he goes, well, you can have a pool for that. And I look at the valley right in front of me, and I go, well, there's a swimming hole across the street. And I took what he said to heart for a second. I was like, why don't we have, I can just jump in across the street. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's sorted.
Yeah, there's no alligators or crocodiles.
Right. So you won't end up on the news.
Maybe a snapping turtle, though.
So, talk to me about the Double Live record, the Double Live Butthole Surfers record. Because I love that. I had that one. I think I had a dude that gave it to me on cassette, actually, a dub cassette, and I didn't at the time. It was sold to me, and this is funny because
bootlegged or bootleg.
It's bootlegged or bootleg. Now you can
bootlegged a bootleg because there was actually probably one of the better business moves the band did, and we used to pirate everyone's bootlegs when they came out, which is more or less what you did.
Yep.
And we would pirate it and flood the market because we'd see something we didn't release ourselves and it would be $10. So we'd buy 5,000 of them and charge $3. And so, we just kept doing that. And then finally, like, all these bootlegs suck. So we did our own bootleg. And it was actually, one of the better business deals. Corey Russ from Touch and Go, who will probably never admit to knowing any of us now anymore, but he wanted to be part of it, and so we got the Touch and Go distribution, but he only got a fifth of it and a sixth of it. No, he got a fifth of it. I think it was only 4 of us that got it, I can't remember. But anyways, he just got it as a member of the band. And instead of getting like the labels half, and then since it was a bootleg and limited edition 10,000, which was not very limited, it was also jacked up in price to the wholesalers. So it was pretty much a big killing and made up for all the bootlegs people put out from us. And we picked which ones they were. They were recorded on DAT machine. Most of them were from Atlanta and Athens. And they were just from a two-channel DAT machine put by the board.
And you say DAT, but I mean that's like 88 or something, right? I mean that's like old school.
Yeah,
that's not like
80.
DAT 94.
No, actually, was it DAT? Yeah, I think it was DAT. If it wasn't a DAT, it was a PCM modulator. But I'm pretty sure it was an early DAT. Was what we did that one on. We had an early DAT machine, brought that out, and Ricky was doing sound at the time, and But those shows seemed to sound the best, and we played pretty good because there are no overdubs and no mixed with the channels, individual channels. So that
sounds great.
Really good. That was a good sound we're in, and that was kind of what it sounded like when we played. It's just I hear people now saying, "Oh man, I wish I could see you guys," and I'm like, "Well, you never will, because we'll never be like we were back then." But I guess some people actually like the music too.
It's a great snapshot.
To me, it was the whole package was what made Butthole Surfers, and so.
And there was that one song on there that was the psychedelic jam. Like I don't think was that ever released anywhere else. I think that's it's a great tune.
It was called PSY on PO'd, and that album was not supposed to be called PO'd. It was supposed to be, we threw a sock at the keyboard, and those were the letters that came up, but Rough Trade gave it a pronunciation and a meaning. But it did come out on their label, and those guys actually had that song before I joined the band, and it was just a very scaled down version of what it became, and we just kept playing it live, and it kept evolving and evolving, and finally then we recorded it, and I think the double live version is pretty similar to the one on PO'd, but PO'd is a cleaner version. I like that song a lot. We one time played that when we played with Rocky Erickson, and I believe it was him and the Explosions, and we played at the Ritz on Halloween, and there's a lot of stories that go with that one, but the part about Psychedelic Jam was we played 20 minutes, that one song for 20 minutes, and played car wreck movies behind us. And all these people were in this nice old theater, couldn't wait to celebrate with Rocky, and here we are showing them death while they're all on mushrooms before Rocky comes out.
What an awesome bummer.
It was definitely the Captain Come Down there, no doubt.
Well, and that's it's interesting too, because I think that's an era that it's hard to, again, you mentioned like me bootlegging the bootleg, but at the time I didn't know that. I was just like, oh, this is double live, cool. Like, I didn't know from it. Like, guys like, hey, just check this out, you like it. I'm like, all right, cool, man. And it's weird to think about, and it's harder to pull off something of that nature now, just because all the information's like immediately available, at, like 3 clicks, which is kind of cool. It's great, but it's a different world.
I think actually I think actually the whole setup with the double live, I think King made that available for anyone for free. Anyways, on like this some Butthole Surfers thing. I know this is gonna sound awful as I pour myself a drink, but is it wrong to be weirded out by the fans of your band? Because Butthole Surfers fans are fucking weird, man.
Not when you're in the Butthole Surfers, man. I would agree with that assessment, and I say that as a fan.
So anyways, my point being with this is I had to step back from being associated with the Butthole. So I kind of got back on the forum thing that they had, and then some girl told me that I met one time when I was 18. Didn't have sex with her, I promise. And she all of a sudden started saying like she got her purse stolen in Thailand or something, and she started saying I was a psychic vampire and I was doing all this stuff to her. And
oh man,
she said that when I played in New York with the Butts, so she definitely wasn't going to come out to the show, and she definitely wasn't going to say hi, which meant to me that she was going to stab me. So
jeez, dude.
So anyways, I decided it was probably best off to just, there's a couple of guys that I know that I appreciate that I see them outside of that state. But yeah, it's weird, man. Like I always get along with all Honky fans, my other band. But there's something weird about, there's a red flag when someone comes up and goes, I love the Butthole Surfers.
It's almost like a warning sign, right?
Yeah, red flag. Yeah.
Well, and that's and we barely talked about Honky. We talked about tons of stuff, but I think Honky is kind of a very interesting. I mean, first of all, what a name, man! What an attention getter. First of all, nice one-word name, easy to remember. But wow, like first time I heard that, I was like, "There's a band called Honky? Holy crap, that's amazing!"
Yeah, it was a different time, my friend.
Yes, it was.
That's the thing is we're grandfathered in, and I'd say, as much as people would like to find something to not like us for, there's nothing at all. For us, it was just the name of stupid white people.
Yeah.
But I think it's people get offended by things now by like if you say day, someone says night. If you say black, someone says white. And if you say honky, people get really offended because it makes them think of things they don't want to think about.
Right.
And we didn't think about that at the time, and there's no lyrics of ours that have anything to do with anything of the sort or anything people would say that we sing about chicks. But the women that are mentioned in our songs always get the best of us. And there's some quality control that goes in with the output of that. And that's, I think, why we've been able to get around as being called Honky as long as we have, because we haven't we've shunned people that try and take us in for whatever reasons they want to take it in for.
Everyone kind of reading their own thing into it or something, or whatever.
Yeah, or just want to cling to us because our name's Honky, and to them it means something else.
Yeah.
But that was never our intention, and we're just playing Southern grooves and goofy drunk white guys, they like to smoke weed,
right.
I don't know. That was in '96, I think, when we started that. So it was definitely a different time back then. You didn't have to be ashamed about where you're from, and you didn't have all these things that people come up with now. But I think it's a different time now, and we all need to try not to be victims and move on and all help each other to be
try a little harder.
The wonderful people that we can all be and help each other out, But Honky's not going anywhere. We've slowed down definitely because we're doing different stuff. But we like to get together and celebrate. And when we do celebrate with Honky, it's usually about drinking, not about anything other than that. That we throw parties for. That's why I can't do it that often. I can't do Honky.
You got to kind of call your shots on it, huh? Find all things Jeff Pinkus on the old internets. Keep on the Grass is the name of the new record. that was very weird, man. It's there's nothing like someone getting interrupted mid-story for some good live radio, let me tell you. But
yeah, well, I'm up at Dale's 500 acres up in the Hollywood Hills right now, so he doesn't get the best reception out here.
Well, that's fine. But I appreciate the time that you gave to me. It's been great talking to you, man. It's
you too.
It's cool to like, one of the things that I think is is just that tag I was going to put on you talking about people reading stuff into Honky is that, Butthole Surfers being so mysterious. I think there's sort of a trend for folks to sort of read things into it maybe with a little more nefarious intent when there's a lack of kind of putting it all out there in a very obvious manner. And
yeah,
I was just gonna say, one of the things that I thought was kind of cool is that when I when I met you, I was like, wow, what an awesome, personable, nice man, like just flat out.
Thanks, brother. Likewise.
And I appreciate what you do. I've been jamming. Keep on the Grass. Is Bandcamp the best place for folks to get that for you?
They can get Bandcamp, I think, is really good for it. iTunes also has it if that's easier, and we also have it online on Bandcamp. You can get our actual CD as well right there, and you can order it, I believe, as a link from .com.
Nice.
That's probably the best place to get it. You have your options.
It's good to have, options.
If you're a dog lover, you have lots of options.
Nice. Nice. Appreciate what you do, dude. I guess the last thing I usually ask all folks to come on the show, why do you do what you do?
Because it's too late to do anything else.
Nice.
Appreciate you coming.
All right, brother. Take care and see you a little bit down the line, huh?
Man, thanks for your time, brother. Appreciate it, man.
There you go.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
There he goes. Mr. Jeff Pinkus. What a cool guy. Well, it's good. We laughed, we cried, we learned a little something. A couple somethings.
Is this thing on?
A thing or two. There's a independently wealthy Steve Albini coming up on the end theme. He's gonna love that. By the way, Steve Albini next week, and I'm not kidding about that. So we got you've been listening to what? I'm forgetting how to close the show. I've only done this 100,000 times. The show's called Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. The show happens Thursdays. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, RadioNope.com. Say yes to Nope. Got a bunch of stuff coming up. Bob Burt, the aforementioned Bob Burt, coming up. Steve Albini, coming up soon. Greg from Jura, Maggie Vale, all kinds of folks. Stay tuned in. If you don't already,
as we come to the close of our broadcast day,
and you listen to podcasts, and you're listening to a podcast, so I know that you are listening. It's part of the thing.
This is my farewell transmission.
Subscribe to the show. It helps new people find it, and it helps us do what we do a little better.
Signing off, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea.
RadioNeutron.com for the archives.
Anyone within the sound of my voice.
It's all there for you 100% of the time.
I've got
live listeners. We got music on with Music Off coming up. I do not remember what this week's show is, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's fantastic. It's coming up next. Stay tuned. We do have fun here at Radio Nope.
This microphone turns sound
money is the big
into
idea.
Electricity.
Okay, great stuff coming up.
Can you hear me now?
Stay tuned. Stay subscribed.
Out on Route 128, we're dark and lonely.
Take it easy.
I got my radio on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? or any caller at all. Welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. There is no special girl! It's the end of radio. The last announcer plays the last record. The last what? Leaves the transmitter. Circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, radio on.